Ancient legends speak of shepherds who appear in times of chaos to vanquish darkness and restore light to the world. However, these saviors always vanish once peace returns, fading back into myth until they are needed once more, leaving their origins and destinations a mystery. While exploring ancient ruins, Sorey and his friend Mikleo discover a mural depicting a shepherd. This finding supports Sorey's theory that the shepherds have existed since before the dawn of recorded history, a claim Mikleo views with skepticism, suggesting the ruins could be elaborate fakes. After a treacherous fall into an underground ruin, Sorey and Mikleo discover an unconscious human girl. Despite the strict rules of their secluded community against interacting with humans, Sorey insists they cannot abandon her, compelling a reluctant Mikleo to help. Having escaped from a monstrous Hellion, the pair reflects on their inability to defeat such creatures without the power of purification. Their immediate concern shifts back to the unconscious girl, realizing they must save her before another monster finds her helpless in the ruins. Sorey makes the controversial decision to invite the human girl back to his home village. Mikleo strongly objects, warning that their guardian, Gramps, will be furious, but Sorey's compassion for the stranger in need overrides his concern for the consequences of breaking their sacred rules. Upon returning, Gramps scolds Sorey for bringing a human into their hidden domain of Elysia. He reminds the boys of the inherent dangers and the potential for trouble that humans bring, emphasizing the importance of protecting the peace of their sanctuary from outside influences. During a quiet evening, Sorey learns the girl is from a capital city called Lady Lake, which is connected to the legend of the shepherd and a sacred blade. She reveals the world outside their peaceful sanctuary is descending into chaos, plagued by disasters and hardship. The girl, whose name is later revealed to be Alisha, details the extent of the world's chaos. She speaks of mysterious illnesses, unnatural storms, and even rumors of war between nations over dwindling resources, explaining why she is desperately seeking a legendary savior. As she prepares to depart, Alisha finally reveals her name and title as a knight. She expresses her firm belief in the legends and tells Sorey that he strongly reminds her of the heroic shepherd she has read about, urging him to consider this possibility. A cunning, fox-like Hellion infiltrates Elysia, revealing its true purpose, hunting Alisha. In a terrifying display of power, it consumes one of the local Seraphim residents, demonstrating the grave danger that now threatens their once peaceful home and validating Gramps' fears about outsiders. Realizing the Hellion is pursuing Alisha, Sorey decides he must leave his home to warn her. Mikleo, unwilling to let his friend go alone, joins him. They discover Gramps anticipated this, leaving them a valuable royal dagger to help them in the human world. While journeying through the outside world, Sorey and Mikleo overhear travelers discussing the recent return of Princess Alisha to the capital. They are shocked to learn the girl they saved is royalty, and realize the fox Hellion is likely already in Lady Lake, waiting for her. Upon arriving in the bustling city of Lady Lake, the duo quickly spots the foxman Hellion lurking in the streets. They immediately give chase, following him into the city's sewer system, determined to prevent him from reaching and harming Princess Alisha during the festival. In the sewers, their confrontation with the foxman is interrupted by a mysterious group of assassins. They save Sorey and Mikleo, explaining that their contract to eliminate Alisha was a mistake. However, they warn that the princess still has other powerful enemies. Desperate to reach Alisha, Sorey makes the difficult decision to use the valuable pipe Gramps gave him as a bribe. He pays off a guard to gain access to the restricted festival grounds, hoping to warn the princess of the imminent danger she faces. Near the sacred blade, Sorey is the only one who can see a female seraph, Lailah, the legendary Lady of the Lake. The festival begins, but simmering public discontent over the state of the world quickly boils over, escalating into a violent citywide riot. The intense negative emotion from the riot causes a citizen to transform into a monstrous Hellion. Lailah explains that to use her power of purification, she needs a human vessel. Seeing the chaos, Sorey steps forward and offers himself for the role of the Shepherd. Sorey successfully pulls the sacred blade from its stone, officially becoming the Shepherd and forging a pact with Lailah. He is transformed, clad in new garb and filled with incredible power, which he immediately uses to begin quelling the Hellions running rampant in the city. After successfully defeating the Hellions and calming the riot, the immense strain of becoming a vessel for Lailah's power overwhelms Sorey. He collapses with a high fever, a common side effect for humans who make such pacts. Alisha ensures he is taken to an inn to recover. Upon waking, Sorey learns from Lailah about his true purpose as the Shepherd. His duty is not just to fight Hellions, but to defeat the ultimate source of the world's malevolence, a being known as the Lord of Calamity. She advises him to travel and grow stronger. Sorey discovers that Lailah's knowledge is limited by a self-imposed oath. This contract grants her immense power, but also prevents her from speaking about certain critical topics, such as the histories of past shepherds or the specifics of her purification abilities, leaving many mysteries unsolved. Alisha sends Sorey a set of traditional shepherd's clothing, along with a heartfelt letter, inviting him to visit her manor. Touched by her kindness, Sorey and Mikleo go to thank her personally, marking a deepening of their friendship and alliance against the growing darkness. To bridge the gap between the human and Seraphim worlds, Lailah devises a method for Alisha to perceive them. By having Sorey hold Alisha's hand while blocking his other senses, Alisha can finally hear the Seraphim's voices, an experience that fills her with profound joy and validates her lifelong faith. Tension arises between Sorey and Mikleo over the dangers of the Shepherd's path. Sorey's desire to protect his friend by excluding him from battles makes Mikleo feel like a burden. This conflict stems from their deep bond and differing views on how to face their shared challenges. Within the ruins, Lailah reveals that this was the site of her pact with a previous shepherd. She gives Sorey an iris gem, a special artifact capable of holding and revealing memories of the past, hoping it will guide him on his journey. Sorey unlocks the shepherd's ultimate ability, Armatization. This power allows him to fuse directly with a Seraph, gaining immense strength and elemental abilities. He uses this newfound power to effortlessly defeat a massive swarm of Hellions that had cornered him in the ruins. After returning a ceremonial knife to Alisha, Sorey learns more about the world's structure. Lailah explains the concept of a Lord of the Land, a powerful Seraph who can create a blessed domain to protect a region from malevolence, a necessity for restoring peace to Lady Lake. As Sorey's power as the Shepherd grows, his connection allows Alisha to hear the Seraphim more clearly. They determine that to establish a Lord of the Land, they need a vessel of pure water, which can only be found in the monster-infested Galahad ruins. To aid in the fight against the Hellions, Alisha pledges herself as Sorey's Squire. This pact grants her the ability to see Seraphim and fight monsters within Sorey's domain. He bestows upon her the true name Maltran Appears, solidifying their bond. Facing fire-resistant Hellions, the group is saved by Mikleo's timely arrival. He sets aside his pride and agrees to become Lailah's sublord, a pact that allows Sorey to armatize with him and wield his powerful water-based abilities, turning the tide of the battle. After recovering from the fever induced by his new pact with Mikleo, the group finds a local priest, Father Brunor. He wholeheartedly agrees to perform the necessary worship rites at the town's sanctuary, taking a crucial step towards establishing a new lord of the land. A rampaging water Hellion destroys a critical bridge connecting the regions. Using their water armatization, Sorey and Mikleo manage to defeat and purify it. The cleansed Seraph, named Uno, gratefully agrees to become the official lord of the land for Lady Lake's domain. Sorey is summoned to a dinner with the manipulative Chancellor Bartlow, who attempts to control him through bribery and threats. Bartlow reveals his plan to exile Princess Alisha to a plague-ridden town, seeking to consolidate his own power within the Hyland Kingdom. Sorey flatly refuses Bartlow's offer, leading to a tense standoff. The assassins from before reappear, exposing Bartlow's plot to have Alisha killed. In the ensuing chaos, Sorey and Alisha manage to escape the palace through a network of hidden underground waterways. Despite the danger and the Chancellor's obvious scheming, Alisha resolves to go to the plagued town of Marland, driven by her duty to help her people. The group decides to first find a way to repair the bridge, which is vital for transport and aid. The party journeys to a mountain called Rayfalk's Spirit Crest in search of an Earth Seraph to help with the bridge. They are warned the area is home to a fearsome dragon and encounters Zaveid, an aggressive wind Seraph who hunts Hellions with lethal force. They make a shocking discovery. The dragon terrorizing the mountain is actually the transformed brother of Edna, the very Earth Seraph they came to find. Overwhelmed by grief and helplessness, Edna has been staying near him, unable to find a way to reverse his monstrous state. Sorey's unwavering optimism convinces Edna to join their cause. He promises that together they will find a way to save her brother from his fate as a dragon. With renewed hope, Edna agrees to become a sublord, granting Sorey control over the element of Earth. Using her powerful Earth abilities, Edna assists Sorey in raising a stable foundation from the riverbed under the cover of night. A kind local man named Naif witnesses this miracle, and filled with reverence, promises to lead the townspeople in completing the bridge's reconstruction. Arriving in Marland, the group finds the town ravaged by a plague spread by hellhounds. They soon realize that a much larger threat looms. A powerful drake, a young dragon, is circling the town, feeding on the intense malevolence generated by the suffering and despair below. To weaken the drake, the team works to cleanse the town's malevolence. They expose a corrupt official and purify Atak, a Seraph who had turned into a Hellion out of despair when he saw beautiful art being destroyed to fuel the fires of war. With the help of the newly purified Atak, the group manages to shoot the drake out of the sky. After a difficult battle, they defeat the creature, an act which also purifies Rohan, Marland's guardian Seraph, who had been corrupted into the beast. To protect Marland while they pursue another powerful Hellion, Alisha hires a mercenary group called the Woodsmen. Their pragmatic leader, Lucas, agrees to defend the town in their absence, establishing a temporary but crucial alliance to safeguard the recovering populace. War officially erupts between the kingdoms of Hyland and Rolance. To save Alisha, who has been arrested on fabricated treason charges, Sorey is blackmailed by Hyland's military leaders. He is forced to use his Shepard powers to fight on their behalf in the war. During a chaotic battle, Sorey unleashes his immense power to save Lucas's surrounded mercenaries. He creates a massive landslide that halts the entire Rolance army. While this act saves his allies, the terrifying display of power causes both sides to view him as a monster. The overwhelming malevolence generated by the battlefield summons the Lord of Calamity, Heldolph. He demonstrates his incredible power by creating a corrupting domain that easily overpowers Sorey, severing his vital resonance with his Seraphim companions and leaving him vulnerable. Now completely alone and unable to sense his Seraphim friends, a weakened Sorey is rescued by an unlikely savior, Rose, the enigmatic leader of the Sparrow Feathers Assassins Guild. She carries him away from the battlefield and takes him to their secret hideout to recover. Sorey's connection to the Seraphim is finally restored. Lailah explains that Heldolph's domain was simply too powerful for Sorey's own to overcome. To lift their spirits and reassess their strategy, the group decides to take a break by exploring the ruins their hideout is in. While exploring, Rose accidentally triggers a trap and finds herself facing a powerful Hellion alone. Forced to confront her fear and latent abilities, she accepts the existence of the Seraphim and forges a Squire's pact with Sorey, joining the fight with newfound power. Deep within the ruins, they discover a mural detailing the legendary Shepard's trial. It marks 4 distinct locations across the continent. This discovery provides a new, clear objective: complete these trials to gain the strength necessary to finally confront and defeat Heldolph. Following a recent confrontation, the Shepard, Sorey, and his companions regroup. They decide their next course of action is to find the missing Pope, who they believe can decipher a crucial inscription. An industry secret reveals his potential location as the village of Gadotin on the southern continent. The group opts for a covert approach to Gadotin, realizing a large squadron of knights would draw unwanted attention from the Cardinal. Captain Sergei entrusts the mission to Sorey's small, capable team. In return for their help, Sorey requests a pass to Rolance to avoid being mistaken for an enemy. As a sign of trust and gratitude, Sergei bestows upon Sorey the Lion's Howl, a powerful martial art passed down through his knightly order. This act solidifies the bond between the Shepard and the captain, establishing them as equals in the fight against the growing darkness and political turmoil. A new obstacle emerges as they learn that Byracliff Ridge, the path to Gadotin, is blocked by rock slides. The only alternative route is through the Cambria Caverns. This unexpected detour forces them into the underground, a place where their skills and resolve will surely be tested. Inside the caverns, the party encounters Sindra, the Seraph of Lastenbell, who has withdrawn from the world out of disgust for humanity's cruelty. She reveals a tragic story of a young girl named Margaret who was bullied because of her faith, leading to a surge of malevolence. After confronting the Hellions born from the tragedy, Sindra feels remorse for abandoning her duty. Inspired by Sorey's compassion and willingness to help, she asks for a second chance to protect the city. The group agrees, demonstrating the Shepard's mission to restore faith and balance between humans and Seraphim. Arriving in Gadotin, the team is surprised by the village's prosperity, which seems unnatural given the infertile land. They decide to split up to investigate the source of this mysterious wealth, while also searching for any clues that could lead them to the whereabouts of the missing Pope. Dezel, the Wind Seraph, becomes suspicious of the village chief, Sleng, noting his expensive glasses are a rarity. This small detail suggests the chief is not who he appears to be. Dezel suspects that Sleng might, in fact, be the Pope they have been searching for all along. The group discovers a hidden warehouse filled with a highly addictive, fake elixir. They find certificates with the official stamp of the Church of Rolance, but the profits are all flowing directly into Gadotin. This discovery connects the village's strange prosperity to a massive, illicit operation. Confronted, the village chief reveals he is indeed the missing Pope Macedra. He confesses that he abandoned his duties out of despair after his devotion to the church cost him his family. He then created the fake elixir scheme to provide for the villagers who rescued and accepted him. Sorey and his friends face a moral dilemma. While the Pope's actions are criminal, his intentions were to help the desperate villagers of Gadotin. They decide to let him remain, realizing that forcing him back would doom the village, and that some situations are not simply black and white. Before they depart, the Pope recites the sacred inscription from memory, providing a crucial clue. It speaks of 4 shrines of trials, earth, water, fire, and wind, where the Shepherd can obtain powers to fight the Lord of Calamity. Their next destination is clear: the Shrine of the Trial of Fire. Inside the shrine, they are tested by Mikleo, the protector Seraph of Fire, who initially appears as a Hellion. The trial is twofold, testing both their strength in battle and their spirit. The ultimate test involves a choice of who must bear the purifying flame, a burden that tests their bonds. Having passed the trial, Mikleo, who reveals he was once human, grants Sorey the spiritual power of fire. This new ability is essential for breaking through powerful Hellion domains. With one trial complete, the group prepares to seek out the remaining 3 shrines to continue growing their power. The party returns to the city to find the political situation has worsened. The church has accused the Platinum Knights of plotting a rebellion, using the excuse of a false shepherd. A letter from Sergei's deceased brother, Boris, exposes Cardinal Fortin as the source of a terrible curse upon the land. Realizing the Cardinal is too powerful for ordinary humans, Sorey and his group decide to investigate her activities directly. They plan to uncover the truth behind the endless reign plaguing the Empire, while Sergei and his knights attempt to persuade the Emperor of the Cardinal's treachery and clear their names. In the Cardinal's sanctuary, they make a horrifying discovery: statues of petrified people, including Sergei's brother. The Cardinal reveals her goal is to unite the people through fear, using the perpetual reign as a tool to fuel the Empire's war efforts. She is a Hellion with the power to turn living beings to stone. During the battle, they find they cannot purify the Cardinal because her immense malevolence is born from a twisted sense of justice. She genuinely believes her actions are for the good of the Empire. This conviction makes her resistant to Sorey's purifying powers, leaving them with a grim choice. To protect Sorey from the burden of killing, Rose steps in and assassinates the Cardinal. She takes responsibility for the act, framing it as the work of the Scattered Bones Guild. This decision preserves Sorey's role as a giver of life, while ending the immediate threat posed by the corrupted Cardinal. Though the immediate crisis is over, the political landscape is still unstable. The Cardinal's followers may seek to continue her warmongering legacy. Sorey resolves to stop the impending war, vowing that the sacrifices made will not be in vain. The group's journey is far from over. The party discusses the mystery of Maltran, the powerful Seraph whose disappearance seems to have triggered the Age of Chaos. They speculate that finding him and restoring his blessing could end the current era of strife. Their quest shifts towards searching for the 4 trial shrines for clues. The group encounters a man named Malfour, who is publicly posing as the Shepherd and taking credit for Sorey's deeds. Surprisingly, Captain Sergei and the Platinum Knights are acting as his guard. It is revealed they are under orders from a high-ranking general, forcing them into a difficult position. Information from Rose's guild reveals that Shepherd Malfour is a former priest aiming to fill the power vacuum left by Cardinal Fortin's death. The church is also investigating the fake elixir from Gadotin, which could spell trouble for the village chief, the former pope. Malfour confronts the chief, not to expose him, but to negotiate. He offers to conceal the pope's crimes in exchange for control over the fake elixir's distribution route. This deal secures legitimate revenue for Gadotin, while increasing Malfour's own power and influence within the church. The party meets a former knight who tells a chilling story about Maltran, Alisha's mentor. He claims that years ago, he saw her being attacked and seemingly killed by Hellions disguised as soldiers. Yet, Maltran is still alive, raising suspicions that she may be connected to the darkness. Sorey meets with Princess Alisha, who provides a lead on a newly discovered ruin at Lake Haven Heights that might be a shrine of trials. She also mentions that Maltran has gone to investigate it. This news, combined with the knight's story, deepens the group's concerns about Maltran's true nature. The influence of the Shepherd is a heavy burden, as it can greatly impact human society. Sorey and Rose grapple with this responsibility as they investigate a group of child pickpockets. They learn that intervening isn't always straightforward, as their actions have unforeseen consequences on the lives they touch. Sorey and Mikleo return to their home village of Elysia, where they are welcomed by their guardian, Xenros. The long history of Shepards and the cyclical nature of their struggle is discussed. Lailah expresses her hope that this time with Sorey and his friends, the outcome will be different. The group arrives at Lethe, the shrine of the Trial of Water. Their test is not simply to defeat the rampaging Hellion, Asura, but to understand the reason he fell into despair. Asura, a former shepherd himself, is consumed by anger over a stolen sword and a sense of betrayal. It is revealed that Asura's own Seraph guide stole his powerful sword to prevent him from destroying the world in his grief-stricken rage. This act of perceived betrayal is what ultimately caused him to become a Hellion. The story serves as a cautionary tale about the burdens a shepherd must bear. Maltran appears and takes Asura's powerful sword, revealing she is a Hellion in service to the Lord of Calamity. She admits to manipulating Princess Alisha, using her pacifist ideals to secretly stoke the flames of war between Hyland and Rolance. Her betrayal is a devastating blow. The group enters another trial shrine, this one guarded by the former shepherd, Pawan. The trial involves quelling a Minotauro's Hellion. Edna, showing unexpected empathy, connects with the creature, which appears to have been a protector of children who were bullied and tortured, leading to its sorrowful transformation. At the final trial shrine, the party encounters Zaveid, a renegade wind seraph who hunts and kills Hellions. He clashes with Dezel, whose fighting style is suspiciously similar. Zaveid's aggressive methods and mysterious past create immediate tension within the group, especially with Dezel. Zaveid's weapon is a unique tool that allows him to kill Hellions without a shepherd's power, but at great personal cost. He warns Dezel away from a personal conflict, hinting at a deep, unresolved history between them before departing, leaving the group to wonder about his true motives. While ascending the tower for the wind trial, Dezel has a hostile reaction to a woman attempting a ritual suicide. He coldly states she deserves her fate, shocking the others. This outburst reveals a deep-seated trauma related to betrayal and sacrifice, which has fueled his quest for vengeance for years. Having completed the trials, Dezel is still haunted by his past. The Seraph overseeing the trial notes that true friendship can help overcome any obstacle. Dezel, however, remains focused on a single, all-consuming goal, suggesting his journey for vengeance is nearing its climax. The group gets involved in the affairs of Rose's guild, the Scattered Bones. The political situation in Rolance has become a tangled web, with the royal family seemingly involved with Hellions. This forces Sorey and Rose to infiltrate Pendrago Castle to uncover the truth and confront Dezel's target. Inside the castle, they are confronted by the Seraph Simone, a master of illusion. She reveals a devastating truth. Dezel has been unconsciously using Rose as a vessel for years. He manipulated her and the Windriders, turning them into an assassin's guild to facilitate his revenge. Simone explains how Dezel's blessing, meant to protect his friend, Prince Conan, inadvertently turned the prince into a Hellion due to his jealousy. This single act led to the downfall of the Windriders and set Dezel on his dark path, a truth he had suppressed for years. In a climactic confrontation, a Hellion mortally wounds Rose. With no other way to save her, Dezel makes the ultimate sacrifice. He instructs Sorey to fire Zaveid's last bullet, turning himself into the projectile to sever the malevolence from Rose's body, saving her life at the cost of his own. In his final moments, Dezel expresses gratitude for his time with Rose and the group, finding peace in his sacrifice. Rose reveals she is grateful for the life he inadvertently gave her with the scattered bones, and she promises to deliver his last message to their friends. The group mourns Dezel's loss, reflecting on the weight of their journey. Lailah creates a paper bird, a tribute to the wind Seraph, and they send it soaring into the sky. This moment of quiet remembrance strengthens their resolve to see their mission through and find answers. Zaveid officially joins the party, intending to fill the void left by Dezel. He reveals his goal is to settle a score with Maltran, one of the 5 great lords, whom he suspects has become a Hellion and bonded with Heldolph, the Lord of Calamity. The party confronts Heldolph, whose power is immense. He taunts them, attempting to manipulate Sorey's emotions. The battle reveals that Heldolph's strength is far beyond what they have faced before, and he seems to be toying with them, hinting at a deeper, more sinister plan. Heldoph offers Sorey a place by his side, proposing they free the Seraphim from their duty by turning them into Hellions. He argues that malevolence is natural and resistance is futile. Sorey staunchly refuses, setting the stage for the final conflict between their opposing ideologies. The group seeks out Maven, the storyteller of time. He is part of a clan tasked with observing history without interfering. However, seeing the gravity of the situation, Maven agrees to break his taboo and reveal the truth about the dawn of the Age of Chaos. Using a monolith, Maven shows them a vision of the past. They witness the tragic events at the village of Camlon. The previous Shepard, in his grief and rage, placed a terrible curse on General Heldoph, transforming him into the immortal Lord of Calamity, bound to eternal loneliness. The vision also reveals Sorey and Mikleo's origins. Sorey was a human infant, the sole survivor of Camlon, and Mikleo was an unborn Seraph whose mother was a casualty. They were found by Xenros, Gramps, and raised together in Elysia as beacons of hope for a new future. Sorey declares his answer. He wants to save Heldolph, not just defeat him. He believes that to create a world where humans and Seraphim coexist, he must extend salvation even to those consumed by malevolence. This compassionate but difficult path defines his ultimate purpose as the Shepherd. Maven reveals that breaking his oath has a cost, the forfeiture of his immortality. He engages Sorey in a final battle to test his resolve, ultimately sacrificing himself. In his last moments, he dies content, surrounded by friends, and entrusts the future to Sorey and the group. With new resolve, the group heads toward Camlon for the final battle. On the way, they learn that the war between Hyland and Rolance has reignited, instigated by Lunarre. Rose is forced to leave temporarily to rescue her captured guild members, her family, from certain execution. Simone uses her powers of illusion to try and stop Sorey, creating a fake Sergei to manipulate the citizens and knights of Rolance. The group sees through her deception and defeats the Hellions she summons, but her psychological warfare continues to test their unity and resolve. Rose confronts and defeats Lunarre, avenging her fallen comrades. However, like the Cardinal, his malevolence is too deep for purification. Rose once again takes on the role of executioner, ending his life and fulfilling her duty to her guild, reaffirming the difficult path she must walk. Alisha finds herself in an impossible position, ordered by her kingdom to officially start the war. Maltran, her mentor, reveals her true allegiance and attacks. Alisha is forced to fight and kill the woman she once looked up to, a brutal lesson in the harsh realities of her world. As the full-scale war erupts at Glaven Basin, a massive dragon, born from the concentrated malevolence of the battlefield, appears. Edna recognizes it as her long-lost brother, Eisen. The creature is immensely powerful, threatening to annihilate both armies indiscriminately. Faced with an overwhelming foe, the warring armies of Hyland and Rolance, led by Alisha and Sergei, unexpectedly unite. They rally behind the Shepherd, their shared struggle against the dragon temporarily erasing their political divisions and showing the potential for human unity. After the grueling battle against the dragon, the group rests and reflects on their journey. They recognize how far they've come and how their bonds have deepened. With the war between the nations finally cooling, they prepare themselves for the final confrontation with Heldolph and the purification of Maltran. The party has a series of quiet, personal conversations, preparing themselves for the end. Edna and Zaveid discuss the nature of salvation through death, while Rose and Lailah reflect on their roles and shared strengths. They solidify their resolve, ready to accept whatever outcome awaits them. Sorey reveals his plan for after the final battle. He will become a vessel for Maltran, entering a long slumber to purify the land's malevolence over centuries. This sacrifice is his ultimate answer, ensuring a future where others can continue the work of building a peaceful world. The group arrives at a desecrated Elysia, now overrun with Hellions. Heldoph has broken the seal to Camelon, using it as a way to psychologically torment Sorey by threatening his home. They find Gramps, Xenros, has gone alone to confront the invaders, forcing the party to hurry after him. Before the final battle, Zaveid reveals his own promise, to kill Edna's brother, Eisen, if he ever became a dragon. Now the time has come to fulfill that oath. Edna, though heartbroken, accepts the necessity of this act, understanding it is the only way to free her brother's spirit. At the entrance to Camelon, the spirit of Mikleo's mother, Muse, appears. She was the one who sealed the path, but was mortally wounded. In her final act, she gives her life to clear the way for the party, entrusting her hope for the future to the children she could never raise. Simone makes her last stand, throwing increasingly desperate illusions at the party. They see through her tricks, realizing her power is waning in the thick malevolence. They confront her one last time, offering her a path away from despair, but she is too lost to accept it. The final battle against Heldoph begins. He continues to taunt Sorey, questioning the meaning of his struggle. Sorey and his friends stand firm, declaring their intent to live and feel, even with pain, rather than accept Heldolph's vision of an emotionless, empty world free of suffering. In a cruel twist, Heldolph reveals he has absorbed Xenros. He forces Sorey to fight his own grandfather, believing the emotional pain will corrupt him with malevolence. Faced with an impossible choice, Sorey knows he must strike down his guardian to have any chance of saving the world. In his final moments, Xenros tells Sorey he is proud and accepts his fate, urging him to live his life to the fullest. With a heavy heart, Sorey deals the final blow, a necessary sacrifice that steels his resolve. He will not let his grandfather's pain be in vain. The battle reaches its zenith. Sorey and his friends unleash their full power, using their armatized forms as living weapons to sever the bond between Heldolph and Maltran. One by one, they sacrifice their ability to armatize, pouring all their strength into 4 decisive strikes. With Heldoph finally purified and freed from his curse of eternal solitude, Sorey fulfills his promise. He absorbs the immense malevolence of malice into his own body, becoming a vessel of purification. He falls into a deep sleep, beginning his long vigil to heal the land for centuries to come.